to be quite honest, it just wasn't enough minority push for better for you products, and the store recognized that. So they gave us a chance for the mission as opposed to the recipe. So like you can't go in with I call it the battle rap concept, like, yo, my stuff better than your stuff, my stuff better than his stuff. You know, I could go in there like that. I had to go in with, listen, you know, there aren't any minority-owned better for you products. You know, how are you guys, you know, how do you guys hope to change that? You know what I mean? And then they listen, and then they see that you can, you know, produce, you know, to you know, without being.
The life. I said it's the life. Yeah. Hey, yo, I see y'all out there living y'all life, man. Live it up. I went from sleeping on the bunk inside a cage to home ownership. While people was afraid of that life, I was condoning it and hoped that I was raised for the mice known to roam. If you got it out.
What's up, good people? It's your boy, Bro Troy. We are back at it once again for another courageous conversation. We're doing a little bit different today. Today is all about an expose on my man right here, Ryan Mitchell. How you feeling, Ryan?
I'm feeling great, man.
Good, man. You told us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, man, as we start this storytelling piece, man, we really want to dive into a little bit more about who you are. We know barbecue. Right. When we think of Ryan Q. Mitchell, we think barbecue, right? Your father is Ed, is that correct?
That is right.
And he's a pit master.
He is.
He is,
Hall
right?
of Fame pit master.
Hall of Fame. Hold on, let me put some respect on his name. My bad.
That's all right.
So we're going to ease into this conversation, man. We've got this thing called rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Right? So you think of the first thing that comes to mind. You ready?
I like it.
Look, there are 4 styles of barbecue, Ryan. We got Kansas City, Carolina, Memphis, and Texas. Talk to me.
Listen, I'm partial to Eastern North Carolina vinegar-based barbecue sauce, first of all. So I always tell people, man, listen, barbecue is a noun. It's a product. You know, it is an item. It's a dish. So, you know, people get barbecue confused with different styles of cooking. But here in the Carolinas, it is a food. It's an item, man. So, and we're proud of that, man. Whole hog chop barbecue is the Carolinas' claim to fame. So, you know, I can't start any barbecue conversation off without, you know, referencing that first.
We gotta put some respect on Carolina.
Gotta
man.
do that.
Whole hog chop barbecue.
Whole
you heard it
hog.
right here on the Bro Code Show. Are you a bright leaf hot dog type of guy?
I've been known
So the water gotta be red.
Man, listen, it's gotta be red. It gotta have a little burnt, little crisp.
It gotta have the burnt on the
end.
end.
One side on the end, man.
So talk to the people, man.
Absolutely.
How do you dress your hot dog? What is on the bright leaf? What type of bun? All that.
Man, I like your basic, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Man. I like just ketchup, mustard, you know, a nice potato bun, potato
Gotta have
hot
the
dog
potato
roll.
bun, yes.
You know, and light chili. You know, not really a huge fan of the slaw on it, but you know, I just like to keep it real basic, to be honest, man.
Okay.
Long as it's cooked on charcoal and on a grill, I can deal with it.
You better put some respect in your name.
I
Throw
can
the
deal
gas
with it.
away. All the propane has to go.
Gotta go,
out
man.
the window. Charcoal only. I love it. I love it. What is on your bucket list?
Oh man, my bucket list, more travel, you know, and specifically more travel, being able to get my kids out and seeing a little bit more of the world.
Yeah.
That was something that was beneficial to me, man, growing up. So I want to be able to see my boys, you know, see more of the world.
Yeah.
That's definitely on my bucket list, traveling with my family, and you know, just to continue to change the narrative, man, around barbecue and black food culture.
I love it. Love it. So if you could be any appliance in the kitchen, which one would you be and why?
Any appliance in the kitchen, I'm gonna be, man, I'm gonna have to go with a dishwasher, man. I think I'm gonna be a dishwasher.
Why the dishwasher?
I think I would choose the dishwasher because that's the only thing I can't really replicate, you know, outside. I can make fire, I can, you know, figure out some other things to get by, but the dishwasher is unique. It has a unique position inside the kitchen.
Necessity. Okay, I love it. Okay. And last but not least, man, what does it mean to be a pit master?
Man, it's an art form. It's an ancestral art form to me, man. Third generation. To be considered a pit master means that I'm allowing the generations before me and their skills to kind of live through me and my preparation of food and the hospitality and the effort that comes with giving it back to the world, man. So that's it's being behind those pits or those open flames and taking that much, putting that much effort into giving people food, man, is an art form. You have to love it, and you have to love the people that you're doing it for.
I love it. Well, we got to put some respect on Fresh Market's name. Yeah. The Fresh Market is located at, and I'm pulling it up right now, people. I promise you I am. We're going to put it on the bottom of the screen. Yeah. Ryan, I know you sent it to me.
I did, man.
You did, man. We are slacking. Here we go. Boom. We are right here at the Fresh Market at 6325 Falls of the Noose Road, right here in Raleigh, North Carolina at 27615. If you have an opportunity, make sure to come by here. What can they look forward to before we go in the store and take a look at it, man? What is here at the Fresh Market?
Fresh Market is, man, it is a neighborhood grocery store. The atmosphere is clean, it's fresh food. The meat department, you have to actually go in and pick out the cuts of meat that you like. That's one of my favorite parts about the store. Local farm partnerships as well. And they just do a great job, man, with their sourcing and their diversity as far as the products and the people behind the products that they have on the shelves, man. They really get to know, the people that are impacting the community with the stuff they have in the store.
I love it. I love it. Well, I have to ask, man, look, my grandfather lived to be 101.
Yeah, man.
A Saturday morning for me was me waking up at 5 in the morning to pick beans, tomatoes, everything in between. I hated it. I really did. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah.
What did it look like as a kid, man, for you, Ryan, being the son of a pitmaster? What did Saturday morning smell like, look like, and everything in between?
Man, it's funny you pick Saturday morning. I played football in high school, so Friday night lights was my time, man. But Saturday mornings, it didn't matter how many touchdowns I scored, whether we won or lost. Saturday mornings, my dad was getting me up and putting me to work in the morning, man. I mean, it was a labor of love, man. It was what my family used to keep me out of the street, keep me honest. Those new Jordans. Oh yeah, well you're gonna be in the smokehouse. You want those trips to the Polo Outlet and all that kind of stuff. You're gonna be working today. But I wouldn't trade it for anything, man, because it taught me, a lot of hard work and responsibility. My dad would always say, son, you gotta learn money before you earn money. So, that was
that's good, right?
Those were some foundational pieces that the hard work, man, put in, and the hospitality environment, food environment, restaurant environment, it's a humbling experience. You know what I mean? So as a kid, you're in a position of service. And it was difficult at times because I wasn't, the humble beginnings that my grandparents came from, was putting me around a lot of different people. And a lot of times, it was, not the most, friendliest of customer service sometimes, but you have to humble yourself and understand that, you're running a business. Even at a very young age, it's the idea of customer communication and conflict resolution between staff and people. I mean, you just learn some of those basic life skills very early. And the hospitality, the restaurant business will do that for you, man. So that was amazing.
I got it. Yeah. I'm curious, what does a legacy of barbecue look like? Like, you were born into, like, it's in your veins.
Yeah.
What does that look like, and how did it become whole to you?
Well, let me back up just for a second, all right? My grandmother is the matriarch of our family, 92 years old. So my great-grandfather fathered 35 children. And so 2 wives, you know what I mean? So I referenced that so people understand the ancestral, food culture that was around our dinner table. Man, I was born, there were people born in the 1800s sitting across from me at the table as a baby, you know what I mean? So, those relationships and you're watching these people and the wisdom that they are bringing into the house and their relationship with food you know, and hospitality in the home, you know, what it meant to provide food for others, using food as medicine, using food for healing, you know, and using those environments. And the connectivity is totally different, man.
Yeah.
You know, that foundation and understanding what they had to go through to provide and how we created those moments at the dinner table, it made me appreciate, you know, the food that I was eating a lot more, you know, and my grandmother, you know, worked on plantations and plantation homes and cooked and cleaned, you know, almost till I was at least like 10, 11 years old. And so her thing is, you know, she would come home and it doesn't matter who's at the house or who's coming, she would still cook a kitchen full of food. And her thing was, you know, if I had to cook it, you know, in those environments, you know, that I don't want to cook it in, then I'm going to replicate that same love and energy back to my family. And so just understanding, you know, what nourishment meant to that generation and how it trickles down through my bloodline is, you know, it was an eye-opening thing. You know, it was more than just throw some food on the table.
I love it. I talk with the fellas all the time, and I feel like our generation or the generations around our age group are somewhat the last of big mamas.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
I have to ask, and this may be hard for you, but I'd love to hear it. Again, my grandfather lived to be 101. What's one piece of wisdom that's been shared down with you that you'll always put in your back pocket, man, that has really held home for you?
You know, my grandfather, you know, I was raised by my grandparents, man, and so, you know, I got that old school wisdom early in my upbringing. And, you know, my grandfather, you know, was a gentleman, you know, man, and he always would just be challenging me to, you know, to control, you know, my anger, control how I respond, you know, and just always be willing to kind of, you know, we call it putting good energy out in the world now, but like, you know, he was a huge, he was a man of consequence. So, you know, putting good karma out to the world, out into the people and to your family was everything. You know, and so, you know, if you do good, man, it's gonna come back around to you. You know, and so I try to live by that. You know.
I love it. You do good, it'll come back to you. Yeah. We got Ryan Mitchell right here, man. This is the son of a pit master. Shout out to Ed too, man.
Yeah, man.
Right, there would be no Ryan without Ed, man. What's Mom Duke's name?
Sandra.
Miss Sandra, love you, Miss Sandra. Yeah, we're right here with your son. We're at Fresh Market over here at Falls of the Noose in Raleigh. Yes. We're getting ready to go into the store to check out some of these condiments, some of these SKUs, as you say.
There we go, man.
We'll be right back on the Bro Code Show.
I love it. Doing well, man. Listen, man, these are our barbecue sauces, man. We cover the spectrum with all of our barbecue sauce SKUs, man. We have Carolina Gold here, which is our mustard base. Carolina Red, which is a traditional thicker base Carolina sauce with a touch of vinegar. And then on the bottom shelves, we also have the Kansas City and the Memphis. Now, Fresh Market carries 4 of our SKUs, so they try to cover each region and give the customer a little bit different taste profile for their barbecue preference. These are the cleanest ingredient barbecue sauces on the shelf, and most importantly, they are no sugar, no added sugar to any of our barbecue sauces. And that's an important factor on why we make these, man. That's the key to you know, what we're trying to change, the narrative we're trying to change around barbecue, getting our ingredients back to cleaner labels. You know, it just makes for a much better product and a healthier body. Fresh Market, man, is first of all, it's a Carolina-based grocery store, and they specialize in giving people, you know, the opportunity to shop local. You know, locally sourced products. You know, one of the best things about them is their relationship with the small farms and farmers around the Carolinas. You know, clean ingredients. They specialize in a lot of high-level products, man. So I just can't thank them enough for giving us an opportunity to be on shelf. Barbecue sauces that we have here at Fresh Market are going to be a Carolina Red, Carolina Gold. We have the Memphis flavor, and we also have the Kansas City flavor as well, man. We cover 4 different regions of barbecue sauce styles here in the Fresh Market. So you have a great summer, man. Check out Fresh Market, and also you stop by the meat department, man, and you get to pick out your quality choice cuts of meat as well.
So try that, and I'm going to tell you what's in it. It'll blow your mind.
Go ahead.
So there's no corn syrup in there. Smoky sweet, right? But guess what? You're eating veggies instead. There's butternut squash, carrots, and spinach.
Wow.
Yeah. All naturally sweetened, 2/3 less sugar than your average barbecue sauce. Yeah.
There's a little spoon right there. It's good. Now you know what you're eating there? It's butternut squash, spinach, and carrots. No corn syrup, no dyes, no junk. All right, if you could let me know what you think of that barbecue sauce, that would be great. Really good. You just ate butternut squash, spinach, and carrots in your barbecue sauce.
Wow.
So it's half the sugar, half the calories, no corn syrup, no dyes, no junk. It's a new barbecue sauce that we were teamed up with Ed Mitchell to do. So give it a try. We were available in Whole Foods, Fairway.
What's up, world? We're back on the Bro Code Show. It's boy Bro Smith. We're with Ryan Q. Mitchell.
Absolutely.
You were telling us a little bit about your early days from Wilson going forward. Now, what the audience may not know is you played a little bit of college football.
I played a little bit, man.
You know, at ECU.
I was a talented version of Rudy, man. is what I say.
You got on the field. You made that tackle.
Man, I made some plays, and I got to play against and with a lot of talented dudes, man, from the Carolinas. So during my time there, our coaching staff there was really keen on recruiting from the Carolinas and VA and the Southern base, man. So a lot of great friendships and, you know, lifelong memories with those guys. Yeah.
So leaving ECU, was your dream to get back into barbecue immediately, or how did it all come about?
No, man, it wasn't. I mean, to be honest with you, man, my dream was, you know, obviously just like every other kid, I was trying to play sports and make it to the next level. You know, injuries and competition, things of that were, you know, didn't happen. So, you know, the game taught me a lot about life and life in general. So I was able to make it out with my degree in economics. And at that point, man, you know, the work and the chore of cooking barbecue was still embedded in me. So I was trying to get to corporate America and take advantage of my degree and just figure out what other course of life I was gonna be able to take, because at that time I didn't see myself coming home, you know, and being home and working and doing some of the things that I grew up on was not what I wanted to, direction I want to take my life in at that point, man. So I got into corporate America and began chasing my dreams in investment banking and retail banking.
So what led to the sauce? Like where did that come from, partnering with your father? And
yeah, the sauce, you know, back up just a little bit. Okay. You know, 2012, 13, you know, the first financial crisis hit. And after 10 years in corporate America, I got laid off. And, you know, during that time of just having my livelihood just taken from me after I had fought so hard to get my degree and working, you know, it was traumatizing, man. So at that point in time, I knew that I was not going to be able to just sit, you know, and wait on someone to, you know, to determine my destiny for me, man. So talking to my dad, and he's sitting there gloating and smiling like, yeah, I knew you'd be back, you know, yeah, you back where you belong. You can't get far. I told you to, you know, to be here anyway. So at that point in time, man, I started taking, you know, the food business and the creation of products and the restaurant business from an ownership perspective a lot more seriously. You know, my father was gaining notoriety around the world, and we were, you know, really kind of making some waves in the barbecue business and in the industry in general, man. So, you know, those pieces of a legacy were being put in place, and you know, I decided to pursue my passion over, you know, over other things. And so we started in the restaurant side, and then we started creating products, recreating products around 2017, and finally got, you know, our first big partnership to be on shelf, and you know, making waves and changing the narrative around the foods that we grew up on, kind of, you know, bringing barbecue back to its roots is really our slogan.
Now, as I understand it, your sauces are all no sugar?
No added sugar in any of our barbecue sauce SKUs. So that's a huge thing for us. I mean, you know, growing up, you know, my grandmother didn't pour sugar on any of her foods, really. She would stew down, veggies and fruits, and she would use them as like a serum, as a sweetener. Even, she would take, everything, yams, oranges, and, make a serum to sweeten a lot of the condiments that we used in the house. So it really wasn't recreating the wheel, it was just having a commitment to put those ingredients into a bottle, because it's a little bit more, the resourcing of those natural ingredients is a little bit challenging, and, the price points are a little different, but we were really, hell-bent on changing the narrative, and bringing barbecue back to its roots. Father was diagnosed with diabetes in 2017 also. And so he was very, very adamant about, hey, we got to use our platform to try and, offer some educational value back to the community when it comes to the foods we eat and the choices that we're making about stuff we're putting on food. Yeah.
Well, we're going to have a whole segment on the choices that we make. I may leave that up to my man CK.
All right.
But I am curious in regards to what was the first product that you made, and what did it feel like to actually see it on the shelf?
Man, it was phenomenal, man. We started bottling our barbecue sauces way back in the early late 90s, and but we just sold them out of our grocery store, and then when I partnered with True Made Foods, and we started creating, we started attaching ourselves to the mission, of no sugar, and educating the public on just the crap that hides in condiments, and that's where all of the, the lack of nutritional value hides, on the label side, right? So the first barbecue sauce was our Kansas City barbecue sauce. It's a little bit more familiar around the country, so people aren't, they gave that a shot first, and then we moved on to our other SKUs, which kind of focus on different regional styles. But walking into the store, man, I never forget, taking my dad and my grandmother into Fresh Market, and just, I didn't even tell them what we were going to do. I didn't even tell them that we had gotten, national placement yet, and just told them we were just going to take a trip. Walked into the store, walked down the aisle, like I was looking for. My grandma, my dad looked like, man, what are we doing here? What are you looking for? I was like, oh, what's that say right there on the bottom? And man, my grandmother just stopped in her tracks and picked up the bottle and, was looking at it, hands shaking, man. And I was, that was a moment for me, man, that I'll never forget. But for her, it was just about, seeing a legacy of family, just being carried on. She didn't care if, what was being made off of it, for her it was just, generations and generations to be able to see something like that happen, because it's difficult, to kind of, the retail environment is challenging, man. So, it was a moment that I won't ever forget, man, with her and my father. Yeah.
Now, earlier you were sharing a little bit about the history of barbecue.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't think that barbecue itself is a healthy food to eat, but you were telling me a little bit about where that whole legacy of barbecue comes from.
Yeah, man.
Help elaborate for our audience.
Well, my shirt says it all. Barbecue is a superfood, or at least it can be. So, we didn't have to call food organic, generations ago, because it was just naturally from farm to table. And we were barbecuing animals and grilling veggies and grilling all different types of different proteins that were just naturally raised and naturally sourced. So, those were the foods that we lived off of. And again, they weren't drowned in, buckets of sugar, syrupy barbecue sauces. The condiments were natural. The animals that were being eaten were natural. And so, it was just a healthy balance. At my grandmother's table, there was more veggies on the plate than meat, and you didn't get to the next serving of meat until you finished the veggies, so we've kind of gotten a little bit off balance on, how we describe soul food, and so we're gonna try to help change that, and also help change the concept around barbecue in general. As long as you're cooking, you know, from with naturally sourced animals, shopping at these great local grocery stores that we have around here, and just paying attention to the labels, you know, just reading the labels.
Well, I can't wait to get mine because we're gonna get some barbecue right after this.
No doubt, man.
You know, and I wish you much success.
No doubt, man. I thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
You guys are huge. Sprouts Farmers Market, man. This is it's a huge partner of ours, man. They specialize in the farm to shelf concept all around the country. A huge player in the natural food space. So it means a lot for our product to be on the shelves here, man, and kind of just, again, getting that impact out to the community to know where to find better for you products. Here at Sprouts, man, Sprouts features all of our SKUs. So you'll find the Carolina Red, the Carolina Gold, you'll find the Memphis flavor, and one of my new favorites, you'll also find the Central Texas here. I met Sprouts, well, our company met Sprouts at a trade show on the West Coast, actually. So, you know, we pitched our product to those guys, and they loved what we were doing. More importantly, they loved the sustainability aspect of how we were going to try to, you know, just change the narrative around condiments and barbecue sauces in general. They were opening up stores around the country, and the Carolinas was a place that they had, you know, very high aspirations for. So they gave us a shot. And man, we've been doing very well in here ever since, man. So huge partner. They're very big on diversity, very big on having products on shelf that represent a lot of different cultures, a lot of different types of business owners, from veterans to minorities, in all aspects, man. So they do a very good job with, again, including the community and getting their input on the things that they should have on the shelf. I tell everybody, barbecue is a noun. So when you say barbecue, you are talking about specifically chopped whole hog barbecue from Eastern North Carolina, vinegar based. It is a dish.
And the art form is really cooking the whole animal. From an old barbecue master like me, you haven't had it until you had all of the different parts blended together.
Traditionally, chopped whole hog barbecue is what Eastern North Carolina is known for. It is the claim to fame for the state.
We're fortunate enough to have this relationship with a couple of universities, put together a memorandum for us to get involved with the farmers to the extent that we can help decide their diets, acorns, peanuts, things of that nature, which helps accent the flavor.
So we're back here with Ryan Mitchell of True Made Foods. Ryan, we've been at several stores. We heard a lot about you personally and your family-owned business.
Yes, sir.
We're standing at a different location. And I want to talk to you a little bit about mindset of an entrepreneur.
Absolutely, man.
Talk to me about the mindset necessary to be a successful entrepreneur.
Well, man, you know, for us, you know, you hear a lot of people say, you know, you don't get into anything for the money. So, you know, for us, you know, it really was about family legacy and pursuing a passion, right? So our mindset was the continuation of a legacy will lead us to, you know, the financial success, you know, but most importantly, what we want to do is to be able to kind of, you know, give our family, our children, you know, and give the community something to be proud of. And when you're pursuing a passion and making a difference in that way, then, you know, the financial success will come. So it's just really the perseverance. You know, we've tried and failed and tried and failed. You see us standing here at these stores, but we've been told no to plenty of stores before. So we didn't get in on the first time. We had a lot of different, you know, trial and error with the recipes. You know, when you committed to different, you know, to putting real food in a bottle, you know, the price points are different. And you got to adjust and readjust. You got to take ego out of it, man. Yeah. So mindset of an entrepreneur, man, is just one of my dad's favorite sayings is, hey, you got to be able to stand still and see around the corner at the same time. And so, you know, being able to stay ahead.
So there's a lot of people out here with products in different markets. Right. A lot of them have fear based on building their business. What would you say to them?
I said, man, listen, you have to remove fear, first and foremost. I know it's easier said than done, but, you know, the failures are going to teach you something. You know, if it's nothing but a readjustment of your approach, if you're food business, you know, you can't have your ego attached to your recipe. Sometimes you got to tweak some things, you know, to get to get to where you need to be. We were fortunate enough to be able to attach ourselves to a mission. You know, focus on the mission, you know, focus on making a change in your product, you know, will carry itself.
So I heard you twice say perseverance, and it's bigger than you personally.
Absolutely.
You have it attached to your mission. I love it. Mental health, man.
Big time.
This entrepreneur work, the business work, it's 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
If you want to build a successful business,
Yeah.
how do you balance when we talk about mental health and wellness for yourself and your family?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, that's a huge part, man. That's a huge part of being successful in this industry. You know, especially as an entrepreneur, you know, you have to keep yourself surrounded by people who are speaking life into what you're doing as well. You know what I mean? So, but physically, you know, we try to eat right, of course. You try to stay in shape. It's not so much about trying to, you know, look like $1 million as long as you feel like $1 million. You know what I mean? That's a huge part into what we're doing, and just communicating. You know, things that are on your mind. You know, being able to have people in your life to be able to bounce ideas off of, man. Your circle that you're surrounding yourself with is huge. You know, and just stay focused on the mission. You know, staying focused on, you know, what's making you happy.
So I love the part about having a circle surrounded that understands business too,
Absolutely.
especially that can support. Now, let's talk about legacy.
Yeah, man.
Now we hear this word legacy thrown around so much.
So much.
What do you think about legacy, and what do you want your legacy to be?
You know, again, like you say, you hear it thrown around a lot. I mean, personally, you know, I feel like my legacy is still being written on a personal level. You know, my kids and my family, you know, are going to be able to, you know, dictate that. You know, my grandfather used to tell me all the time, son, all this work that I'm doing, it don't mean nothing if you're not interested in it. You know, I could just be, you know, doing my own thing, but if you don't take ownership and interest in it, then it doesn't matter. So my legacy professionally, you know, I want to be able to, you know, add some credibility to minority-owned businesses in the food space, to become, you know, a lot more, you know, financially solvent, you know, when we get into these spaces, and being focused on getting profitable. You know, like, don't worry about getting famous. Focus on being profitable. You know, focus on having the right people around you. And so a lot of times we get into the food space, you know, and that escapes us. You know, so my personal legacy, I want to be able to see, you know, people become a lot more financially successful and controlling our narrative, because these are our stories and we got to take ownership of them. So making it cool. When I was growing up, it wasn't cool to be cooking and being in the smokehouse and being, you know, we didn't have those examples of what we were doing to be, you know, very relevant and very, you know, and a very cool thing to do. So a huge part of my legacy is giving the, you know, the youth something to actually be proud of, so that they can see there's another avenue. You know, there's an avenue in this space, you know, if you approach it right.
I love that, because some of the mentoring we do, we really focus on exposure and showing them that there's many different avenues to take, but they got to see it.
That's right.
Right? Now, last question I want to ask you is, if I'm standing in front of that barbecue aisle and I'm going through the 30 or 40 barbecues, why would I put my hand on the one that you have in your hand?
First and foremost is because it has the cleanest label on it. So like, people kind of get stuck on reading nutritional facts or whatever, but if you scroll past and start reading the labels, you'll see that it's real food in our bottle. That's primarily. And then, you know, we have our no sugar mission is attached to no sugar, no added sugar mission is attached to everything we do, and it tastes good. You know, we didn't reinvent the wheel here, man. We took some of my grandmother's old recipes. Again, she used to stew down fruits and vegetables and turn them into a serum, and that's what she used as a sweetener. It's just real cooking, you know, in these bottles. So that's the reason why you'll choose this barbecue sauce over any other sauce. It's real food in this bottle.
I love it, Ryan, and thank you. We're standing here in front of Harris Teeter with Ryan Mitchell from True Foods, and we'll see you here again on the Bro Code Show.
Hey, yeah. The life. I said it's the life. Yeah. Hey, yo, I see y'all out there living y'all life, man. Live it up. I went from sleeping on the bunk inside a cage to home ownership. While people was afraid of that life, I was condoning it. It helped that I was raised with a mice known to roam. If you got it out the mud, I slept there. I was homeless, living was only torture, and I could have done without it. But God rerouted, and now my mama the proudest when performing at events. She be screaming the loudest. We done came along.
We got a Carolina Gold is in Harris Teeter, and also our Kansas City. These are our two most popular SKUs. Country loves a good mustard-based sauce, and the Kansas City is extremely, has a familiar taste like the other barbecue sauces, but just without the sugar. Listen, man, right now we are at Harris Teeter. Harris Teeter is an extremely important partner for us. Harris Teeter is in the conventional grocery space, so what that means is their outreach, it's not as specialized as a Whole Foods and or Harris Teeter, but their products are Whole Foods or Sprouts, but their products are equally amazing. So local partnerships in these particular types of footprint get you out to urban areas, city shoppers as well. They cover all the bases of the traditional shopper and the non-traditional shopper. So these stores and these partnerships are huge for small businesses, huge for local brands, because you're getting in front of all customer types. And that's a huge part of surviving on shelf in the grocery space. What's next, man? Well, first up is going to be our Family Legacy Cookbook. It's coming out on June the 1st. It's a life narrative, life story, my father, myself, our journey, and my family. So that's going to be hopefully New York Times bestseller. So we're really excited about that. And then, man, we're going to keep trying to take over these shelves, man, with minority-owned products in the food space, in the better-for-you space, and just changing the conversation around using food as medicine, and also, man, just creating some generational wealth. Creating some generational wealth.
I'd say it again.
We're creating some generational wealth so that we can choose our partners, man. Absolutely, man. We could be bought online as well, but you can catch us at all the national groceries here around the Carolinas, around the country, East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. We're distributed nationally in most of your major chains. Walmart is our next major partnership, and we kick that off in May, which is barbecue month. So you'll be able to get us in over 424 Walmarts. Check your local stores. As far as the support, check your stores and continue to demand minority-owned products, man, and better-for-you products. So you can go online, check us out at truemaidefoods.com, thepitmasteredmitchell.com, and you can also catch us on gobelly.com too if you want to order some of our food packages. I'm on truemaidefoods.com, the BBQ Prince, 1031 is my IG, True Made Foods as an IG account, and you can check out our Facebook page as well at the Pitmaster Ed Mitchell. Listen, man, I always try to tell, first and foremost for me, my spiritual foundation is a cornerstone of my life, man. So, when we talk about, all the ups and downs and the trials and tribulations, man, get yourself spiritually founded, man, and you put God first in whatever you do, sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit,
sky's
baby.
The limit,
you heard
man.
it right here on the Broco Show. Hold up some of the bottles of that good old barbecue.
Yeah, man, let me get it. You can get it right here, baby. Here you go. No sugar, low sugar, no added sugar. All the flavors, we got you covered for every region.
We got Kansas City, Carolina Gold.
Carolina Gold.
Right here, my man Ryan Mitchell.
Thank you, man.
Barbecue, Broco.
Here again, man. I just wrapped up with the amazing guys here at the Broco show, man. I can't tell you guys how important this was, man. When I was chatting off camera, man, growing up, we didn't have the interest in what we were doing enough to be able to control our stories, man. So that was a huge part of, the disconnect for me personally, with, some of the southern things that we were doing, man. Growing up, that plantation life kind of trickled from my grandparents to my parents to me. And I didn't have any peers or it just wasn't cool to be involved, man, with some of the things that we cherish now as Southerners. And we lost touch with some of those things, man. So having you guys interested in what we're doing, it brings it all back home. And it can only get better. And it can only get more and more important for not only our kids, but for every culture to know that we are taking ownership